It's late night talk with Royal Phoenix. Let's get into the night's conversation. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Late Night Talk with Royal Phoenix. I am your host, author Royal Phoenix. And tonight we'll be talking about healing sucks, but it's necessary. Episode 2. Let's get into it. The first segment I want to talk about tonight is acknowledging the trauma. Recognizing the trauma is the first step. We can't keep downplaying it or dismissing it as if we didn't experience any pain or we don't know where the pain is coming from. That pain is common in relationships. We have to stop normalizing toxicity. However, the only vital way to move forward is to acknowledge the trauma. Understand that our feelings are valid and that the trauma that we endured was real. It's the only way to recover or to get on the journey of recovery. Journal your experience. Talk to friends. Talk to a trusted therapist. But you have to acknowledge that it happened first. Now, the second part that I want to talk about, I don't know how it's going to come across because especially in the Black community, therapy is shied away from. But more lately, a lot of Black people have been going to therapy and I think it's good for us. So, segment 2 is seek professional help. Like, I can give you the tools and I can tell you what I've researched, but it's not the same as you talking to somebody who has went to school to help you deal with your problems. There are so many different types of therapy out there that helps with PTSD, cognitive behavior therapy, CPT, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR. These are all trauma-focused therapies and are commonly used to help survivors process their trauma. You have to find some way to get out your... So let's talk about what these therapies do. CBT helps you challenge negative thoughts and replace them with healthier beliefs. I think that we all can benefit from something that would help us to challenge our negative thoughts because those thoughts take us places that we don't need to be. Now, EMDR uses eye movement or tapping to help you process and desensitize traumatic memories. I remember I was watching Watchmen, and they used this to figure out who was part of this gang by different images that they saw. It was kind of weird, but I mean, I feel like if it's going to help you be better, then try it. And if these things don't seem like they interest you, then find a support group, someplace where you can find community with people who understand what you're going through. Now, this third segment is entitled Build a Support Network. I know it's easy for us to isolate ourselves during this time, but isolation amplifies the effects of PTSD. So you need to build a network of supportive friends and family. You need to surround yourself with people who understand and respect your journey. That always helps because we surround ourselves with people who only want to take from us sometimes. And sometimes we need to surround ourselves with people who are there to help us. Who can create a safe place for our healing. We need to create boundaries, and I'm a firm believer in boundaries now. At one point, I never had boundaries in me. I'm a reformed people pleaser. So boundaries were the last thing on my list. But now I have boundaries. I don't have boundaries with everybody, but I have boundaries, and we need boundaries. And we also need to reconnect with trusted friends. Trusted friends. Not friends who want to take or want to use you, but trusted friends. Remember, this is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful act of self-care and self-respect that's going to put you in control of your healing journey. And that's why we're here. We're here to heal. We're here to be better. We're here to grow. So reconnect with trusted friends who can offer a sense of normalcy and comfort. Reframe your self-perception. Okay? Reframe your self-perception. Reframe your self-perception. Toxic relationships can distort how we see ourselves. You may struggle with low self-esteem, guilt, or shame, believing the lies that your self-worth. Toxic relationships can distort how we see ourselves. We may struggle with low self-esteem, guilt, or shame, believing the lies that our abusers told us. Healing involves rewriting the narrative and rediscovering your self-worth. I think that those who struggle with PTSD, relationship PTSD, should practice affirmations that remind you of your worth and resilience, because you made it out. You ended the relationship, or they ended the relationship. However it ended, however it went down, it's over with. So build on those things. Build on the good things that came from the relationship. Don't dwell on the negative. You need to rediscover your interests. Engage in hobbies or activities that bring you joy and help you feel empowered, because your power was taken away from you. So now you have to feel empowered again. Challenge negative self-talk. When negative thoughts arise, consciously replace them with positive and supportive thoughts. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight on Late Night Talk with Royal Phoenix. We're going to move into segment number 5, which is entitled Reestablish Trust and Safety. When you have been in situations where your trust has been broken, then it's needed to regain those trusts in people and in situations. Rebuilding trust, especially in romantic relationships, can be one of the most problematic aspects of recovery. Although you may fear being vulnerable again, healing requires reclaiming your ability to trust yourself and others. Take things slow in new relationships. Communicate your boundaries and don't rush into intimacy. So we have to create those boundaries. Like I said, communicate your boundaries. If you don't create those boundaries, how can you communicate them to anyone? And you have to stick to your boundaries. Trust your instincts. One of the most powerful lessons from relationship PTSD is learning to listen to your inner voice. Trust that you can spot red flags and avoid harmful situations in the future. Because we all saw it. We saw the red flags. We saw the pink flags. But we thought it was a carnival, so we say, I'm going to get on a ride. But we can be better for it. But you have to reestablish trust and you have to reestablish safety, because if you don't have trust, then it's not going to work in a relationship. And if you don't have safety, you're not going to want to be vulnerable. You're not going to want to open up. You're not going to want to give someone else your heart, because when you gave your heart to someone else the last time, they broke you. It's normal to feel that way. So take it slow. Communicate your boundaries and don't rush into intimacy. Now, the sixth segment is my favorite segment to talk about in the series of Relationship PTSD. And it's because it's entitled Practice Self-Care and Mindfulness. Mindfulness and self-care are essential in PTSD recovery. They help ground you in the present moment and reduce the hold that traumatic memories have over you. Practice breathing exercises or meditation to calm your mind when intrusive thoughts arise. Physical activity. Engage in yoga, walking, or any movement that can help you release pent-up tension and improve your mood. You have to establish healthy routines, healthy regular sleep, nutrition, and self-care routines to create stability in your life. You have to take care of yourself. Guys, my cousin tells me all the time, health is wealth. And if you don't take care of yourself, you will fall victim to the body, because it's breakable. So you gotta go get your nails done, get your feet done, men and women. You know, you ain't gotta get no color unless you into that kind of stuff. Go for a walk, go to the library, anything that is good for you and no one is pressuring you to do. Self-care is important. Get the mindfulness app, and it gives you a moment where you can, if you iPhone users, I don't know if it's on Android, but it gives you a moment where you can take a breath. It gives you a minute to breathe. And sometimes a minute to breathe can mean the difference between the padded room or the cell. Self-care and mindfulness is important. Now, the last segment that I want to bring up, segment 7, and it's entitled Consider Forgiveness But Don't Rush It. Forgiveness is a personal choice. No one can tell you to forgive anybody for something that they did to you. It's up to you to want to regain your power. And that's what forgiveness does. It gives you back your power. It doesn't have to mean forgiving the person who hurt you. It could mean forgiving yourself for staying in a toxic situation or for any regrets you may carry. Because we carry around guilt. Why did I stay so long? Why didn't I love myself enough to leave? Why didn't I walk away? But this can release a lot of emotional weight, but doing it on your own terms is vital. On your own terms. So if you don't want to forgive that motherfucker, then don't forgive that motherfucker. Like, fuck them. They wasn't worrying about shit when it was putting you through the bullshit. So on your own terms, at your own pace. No matter what they say or matter what they try to manipulate you into doing and all kind of shit, fuck them. That's what second setting should be called. Fuck them. We come down to the conclusion of the whole matter. Like my uncle would say, healing from relationship PTSD is not linear. And it's not something that happens overnight. However, with the right tools, support, and mindset, you can rebuild your sense of self, restore trust in relationships, and move forward from the trauma. It's okay to take your time and seek help when needed. The journey towards healing is deeply personal, and there is no set timeline for recovery. Thank you for joining me on this road to recovery, talking about relationship PTSD. And before I let you go, I want to leave you with a few last words. And that is, recognizing the trauma doesn't define you. And that recovery is possible is a powerful start on the path towards wholeness. Let's get whole out there. I have been your host, Royal Phoenix, and this has been Late Night Talk. Y'all be safe out there. And that's been another episode of Late Night Talk with Royal Phoenix. Y'all be safe out there.